What's up guys, it's Trevor with Embers Living. Today we have a really unique product review. Today we are reviewing a pellet patio heater. Yeah, you heard me right. It's a patio heater that uses pellets. I'm just as curious as you are as how this is gonna work. So let's open up this bad boy and get rolling. Okay, so this patio heater is a company called Wood Pellet Products. And as we open it up, I'm gonna kind of tell you the backstory, how we sort of tumbled into this. So this is Timberline stoves, and this is their smallest. They have several heaters. This is their smallest in the lineup. They're most economically friendly. You know me, I like to do reviews of some high-end stuff, so I'd like to get my hands on the higher-end model eventually too. But this is the Lil Timber. So how we came into this, I actually saw an ad for this stuff on Facebook and it looked really cool. So I was just kind of curious. Sometimes what I'll do, if I see products that look cool, oh, now this is sweet. Check this out. Timber stoves, baby. Got to wear our Timber stoves hat while we do it. If I see products that look sweet for an advertisement, I'll just reach out to them and I'll tell them, hey, I want to do a review. Here's our YouTube channel. Let me know what you guys think. If you think it's cool, send us a product, we'll do a review. So that's what I did with these guys. I reached out to them, boom, they just sent me this, no questions asked, which is really cool. So we want to give them a big shout out. They did supply this for the review. We got to make sure we let everyone know because they did give us this. That being said, it's pretty informal, so I don't have a contract with them or anything, so I can pretty much say whatever I want about it. So hopefully it's good because they just sent it to me willy-nilly. So hopefully this is a cool product. All right, I don't know. What's that hat? Hat doing me any good or no?
Looks good.
Looks good? All right, well, Tate's gonna, Tate. Yeah. Wait till Tate sees this. I got a hat, I know you're gonna want this hat. It's got anything with a leather patch, what do you say? You buy it immediately.
Yeah, you have to. If you're under 29 years old and there's a leather patch on a hat,
why under 29?
Because you're a millennial, right? It's like the hipster thing to do.
You're asking me? Mm-hmm. Like a leather patch is hipster? Mm-hmm. I've never heard of that. Like a curved bill like that, it seems more like a rancher, like a cowboy.
It's a win-win for me. Can I have it?
You can have it, yeah. So, what was I saying? Anyways, they gave us this. It better be cool because they didn't tell us what we can and cannot say, so I have free reign. That's how I like to do my videos. I don't like, which you'll see on our channel, I'm kind of getting off track here, but I don't like doing videos where I'm sort of pigeonholed into saying something that I like about a product, even if I don't do that. We keep our channel as genuine as possible. So it's kind of like a sponsored video because they provided the product for us, but they didn't tell me what I have to say, so it's still pretty much free reign. But we want to give them a big thank you for sending us this. So this right off the bat, we got some fire starter. So that's telling me that it comes with a manual burn pot, and we're going to use fire gel, and you're going to have to manually ignite this guy. So that means there's no igniter in it. I'm wondering if this is going to need power. It's going to have to need power, I would think, because I would guess it has an auger motor. I don't know. We're going to see if it works like a pellet smoker or pellet stove. Let's see what this is. We got some, looks like some pipe here. Timber stoves. Okay, so here's a couple concerns I have with a pellet patio heater. It's obviously outside the box. It's not something you see much of. I think I have three major concerns. One, smoke. So you don't want a patio overly smoky. So I'm kind of curious, a pellet fire is literally a wood fire. So if you have too much of a wood fire going on, it's going to be too smoky. We got some customers. So like I said, one of my concerns is smoke. So I'm curious how that's going to be. Second is, and I kind of answered my own question taking it out of the box, was I didn't research these very well, so we're learning together. I thought these things were going to run more like a pellet smoker or a pellet stove. I thought they were gonna need power, but it looks like these are all analog. So that erases one of my concerns about trying to get a power outlet to it. Why can I not get this crap off? And then my last concern, which we'll find out when we fire this up, is can a pellet fire get hot enough to do some damage? Shouldn't say do damage, there's a lot of wildfires right now. Can it get hot enough to keep us warm? That's what we want to know. So this looks like our main body. So we got our hopper here, so we're going to fill up our pellets here, and it just must be gravity fed and fall into some sort of burn pot. And normally with a pellet stove, you have an intake fan that's pushing oxygen into your firebox. This looks like we got a little manual air control here, so can have some fun with that. All right, this looks like it's gonna take a minute to put together, so let's start assembling it. You're pretty good at putting stuff together, aren't you? Yeah, you. They're pulling a me. Says you gotta go to their YouTube channel, figure out how to put it together. Well, that's what all I do is YouTube. Let's find it. So it's pretty cool that they got a video for us here. They need to calm down on their music though. Listen to that. You're putting a grill together. It's not a Batman movie. I mean, it sounds like Batman's about ready to save Gotham City, and you're putting a patio heater together. So that's my only critique so far. So you need to calm down on the music a little bit. First sign that I know I'm in for a long afternoon. Sign number one, you got your work cut out for you. Ton of hardware. That means those screws got to go in someplace, which means you got a lot of work to do. By the way, if you guys are wondering, got on the Jordan 3s today. Retro from 1988. Not my favorite though. They don't have the original Nike logo. They got the Jumpman logo. So that's not OG status. That's sort of a pretender. I still liked them enough to buy them though. So that's what we're rocking today. They go with my navy blue polos, so. Okay, so it looks like here's our actual firebox, for our burn pot, I should say. Now this is cool because you can tell that manually the pellets are gonna kind of sit on top, which is gonna allow for airflow. That's what I was wondering, because there's no actual fan. So they're kind of manually creating this little fan here. And it looks like they got a washer built on here, so it looks like I'm betting there's a handle, and we kind of sort of a self-made agitator, so we can loosen up all of our ash, because that's the number one thing with pellet products, is you need maximum airflow to get a good fire. So pretty handy. We'll see how it works, but this is going to sit right in here. All right, so you can see this little lock thing. The reason they have this is you can stop your pellets. Because it's just gravity fed, there's no auger that's gonna automatically stop it. So if you don't put that in when you're done using it, it's just gonna burn and burn and burn until you're out of pellets. So let's throw in our pellets here. They say, just like a wood fireplace, you know, the better your wood is, better your hardwood is, the better your burn's gonna be. Same things with pellets, because pellet it's wood, it's a wood fire. So same principle applies. If you want to use good hardwood, we got some cooking pellets here, so that's just what we happen to have here. So there she goes. Fill up the whole hopper. All right. Made a little bit of a mess, that's okay. So you can see it really filled up the base of the firebox there. Our oxygen and an agitator, our main burn pot's down here. So that's where our oxygen is going to come in at. So we're going to use our gel fuel. It does say not to use, you know, ethanol products, things like that. So just make sure you're using the gel fuel they supplied with it. I don't know if it's supposed to be that messy. but what the heck, we're gonna give it a try, right? All right.
Nice. If I can get him.
Okay. And we got our fire going. Now remember, our oxygen is going to be coming from here for our firebox. So we don't need to keep the door open. So we got our oxygen here because you want that to start pulling. So let's open it up all the way so we can get it ripping. Should have ourselves a pretty nice fire here in a minute. Okay, so if you watch any of my wood stove videos, the basic principle of a firebox is you have to establish a draft. So it's using this pipe to establish a draft, and sort of that vacuum draft is what's going to create a really hot fire. And just like any fireplace or any firebox, that's going to take a couple minutes to get ripping. So should get going here in a minute. It is daytime out here, so we're not going to get quite the dramatic effect of the pretty fire as we would in the evening. And again, this is their smallest model, so I would suspect on some of their bigger models, you're going to get even more visual effect out of this. All right, I'm looking for two things here. So the two things I'm looking for, now that we don't have to worry about power, is I'm looking for high heat, because why go through the hassle of pellets if it's not going to heat better than gas or propane? So I'm looking for more heat than propane. To me, that would add a lot of value. And two, I want to see when this gets hot enough to make sure it's actually fairly smokeless for the most part. Now, nothing's smokeless, but the hotter the fire, the less smoke we're going to have to deal with. This pipe is already getting pretty toasty, so I bet this is going to start radiating quite a bit of heat here in a couple minutes. But now we just got to sit and let it do its job. Okay, and as far as setup goes, it was fairly straightforward. It was obvious right away that this thing wasn't going to require any power. It wasn't too difficult as far as figuring out how to put it together, but it was a bear in the sense it was just a lot of hardware. So like I said, there's a lot of screws to put together. It took me a while. It took me a solid hour. But nothing terrible. One thing we wanted to mention too, we did notice when we were opening up the box, made in the United States. That's a big plus. I would say 99% of patio heaters are not coming out of the United States. Okay, let's talk aesthetics. It looks like a very standard patio heater. I think a lot very similar to the propane ones that you see out there. I will say, at least the pictures online, and I'd love to get my hands on one. Hint, hint, Timberline guys, if you want to send me the bigger one. The bigger ones look really sweet, like super sexy, like very, very attractive looking. So, but it doesn't look bad. You know, it's just sort of your standard looking patio heater. The bigger ones look a little more top notch to me. They look a little more bougie, a little more high end, which is what we sell more here at Embers, but super cool. So the verdict's out on whether you put this at a restaurant or not, because it is a wood burning unit. Chris was saying a nice side effect, he likes the smell of it. What did you think of the smell?
Oh, it smells so good.
It smells good. So it smells like a campfire. So because it is wood burning product, it does give off a nice aroma, but not overwhelming. And I have to say, even though our fire isn't as hot as it normally would be, it's still very not a lot of smoke, which is kind of impressing me a little bit. And I'm already feeling this top cap radiate quite a bit of heat. So yeah, we'll give it a couple more minutes, see what she does. So you can really start to hear, you probably can't hear it on the camera, but you can really start to see all that air movement. That means we're starting to really pull a draft. And so we're really sucking in some oxygen here, which is exactly what we want for this thing to function how we want it. I will say the one thing that makes me a little nervous, and it must not be a big deal, but because it's gravity fed, that sort of slide is filled with pellets. I'm a little nervous about that backing up into the firebox, but it must not be a problem, because normally with an actual pellet stove, it's going to drop pellets. So there's going to be a gap between the hopper full of pellets and your burn pot, but this is just a gravity fed chute. But must not be an issue. They know how to R&D these things, so we'll see how she does in a few minutes here. Okay, so I don't know if the camera's picking this up or not, but it kind of looks like smoke coming off the body of the unit. I just know from selling fireplaces and barbecues all the time, that's not actually smoke, so don't worry about that. your first time burning this, you may get some oil odors or some metal paint odors. That's just the paint sort of curing in from that's on the metals. If there's any oils on the metal, usually the first time you burn it, you're gonna have those burn offs. This pipe, I can feel it. It's starting to heat up. Don't touch it. That was stupid. It's hot, so I don't know if the camera can see this or not, but remember how I was talking, I was concerned that the fire would go back up into our slide or our chute. Well, just when I was thinking about it, the gravity fed, just the force of gravity itself just pushed a bunch of fresh pellets down and sort of pushed the fire away from it. So who knew? Those guys know what they're doing. So you can see the pellets, you got fresh pellets sliding down the chute there. Pretty cool. And Chris was just saying it's pretty sweet that we got ourselves a, oh yeah, check that out. How cool is that? But we got ourselves a pretty cool machine. It's cool they got windows. Of course, it adds a nice visual appeal, but then you can at a quick glance see what your fire's doing. So you can see our fire really went to another level. It just keeps getting hotter and hotter. I'll be a son of a gun. I'm really impressed with how little smoke there is coming off of this. It's really doing a good job. By the time it's exiting, it's totally dissipating. Wanted to put our money where our mouth is and get out our heat gun. So that's really gonna tell us everything. Come on, man. Come on, bro. That's gonna tell us everything we need to know. Just let science take over from here. Ready? All right, the stove body itself, we're pumping 647. So it's definitely hot down here. Like if you had like a chair or something here, I mean, you'd be feeling it from the bottom, which is really cool because the heat's gonna naturally rise. I think it's kind of nice that it's so hot on the bottom of the unit because it's just, especially if you're in an outdoor setting in open air, it's just gonna go right up anyway. So you might as well have the heat starting lower because the heat that's here, it's just gonna go anyway. So it's really important to have that fire low, which is a great design because then it's gonna actually serve a purpose. I feel it right here. You feeling it there or not quite?
I feel it, yeah.
A little bit? They say it has a 12-foot radius. So, all right, stove body. Oh, mama, we went up. Got up to 750. Let's check down here. Oh, yeah. Let's check the pipe itself. So the pipe itself is still not, it's not nearly as hot, 250. But 250 degrees, if you're sitting in a 50-degree setting, that's a 200-degree swing. So you're gonna notice it. You're gonna feel it. Up top, so right here, I'm hitting this. Yeah, we're 500. Where we're exiting, we're 500 degrees, 530. So 530, oh yeah, she's cooking. So I'd have to check the rooftop coverings. I could see that beneficial if you could put this under a rooftop with certain clearances. I'm sure there's a minimum height you have to stay. You can't just have this right under a rooftop because that'd be a fire hazard, of course. But in a more controlled environment, it would heat even better. But ideally, if you're sitting here with on a chair, I don't have a chair, I'm just gonna pretend. Oh yeah, I mean, you feel it just sort of ripping off of there. So I'm very impressed. Now I haven't obviously tested this against a gas heater, but hey, that's gonna make a good video. Gas versus pellet patio heater, head to head, mano a mano. Who's gonna win? This thing's pretty stinking awesome. Smells good, looks good, feels good. It's a winner. That's what winners do. Feel good, smell good, perform good. I don't know, I'm just making crap up now. But I would say this thing's a winner. I thought it was gonna be more of a novelty, more of a niche product, but I'd love to get my hands on the whole family. So just to see what they can do. But this thing's pretty stinking awesome. All right, so now we're gonna kind of show you how to shut it down. You can see how long we've been running, about a half hour?
About that.
Yeah, we're about 3/4 full. So what we're gonna do, there's no moving parts in here, so I don't have to worry about smashing my fingers in an auger motor. That's what always worries me about pellets. So I think all we have to do is, I don't know. Okay, we shove that in like that. That should stop our feed. So essentially what it will do is it's gonna keep running, of course, but it's only gonna use the pellets that are left in the slide. So FYI, you'll probably want to put that in a good half hour or so before you're done using it, because this thing's going to stay hot for a while, just like a stove. So my final thoughts are, it's super cool. It's very simple design, but also kind of genius, because no one else is doing it in the patio heater market. It's just a simple gravity fed, basically baby pellet stove, really is all it is. And it's super cool. Like, my leg is heating up pretty good right now. So it's just like a little pellet stove, which is awesome. Very, very inventive. I think it's super cool. In fact, I think it's cool enough, we might have to just throw these on the website. We might just have to be a new dealer for these guys. That's how cool it is. So make sure to subscribe to our channel. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. Subscribe, stay tuned for more videos. If you're in the Denver, Colorado area, and come down and check these out in person. Pretty cool little guy.